No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my f***ing God! What the f***? What the f***?
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. And I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the f*** out of Minneapolis.
Now, in my opinion, it seems that there's a lot of people in Minneapolis specifically that do not understand what complying to law enforcement actually means. There's people in this country that believe that when you start to interfere with law enforcement, that you can do whatever you want. It's fair game. But once you start putting yourself in a position of being in the situation where law enforcement is handling a situation, you have now put yourself into the situation, which means the law enforcement officers can give you lawful commands in order for you to either get out of the situation by, hey, get out of here, you're not part of this, leave, step back, get 25 feet away, whatever command it is. People choose not to listen and test these officers and push forward into thinking they can't be touched. I don't know which TV channel or which TikTok they saw in thinking that they are experts in law enforcement, but you don't just do anything you want and expect the officers just to walk away and be like, oh, yep, just another non-compliant citizen in America. That's not how it works here in America.
Hello everyone, Chef Grady Judd here. I've been asked by media outlets and several people to comment on the event that occurred in Minneapolis yesterday. Let me make one thing abundantly clear. You have to be accountable for your conduct. And that starts with the mayor. Did you hear his filthy talk? Did you hear his filthy, uninformed talk yesterday to the people not only of the city and the state, but across the nation? Shame on you. That's lack of professionalism. Now let's look at the event. The investigation's not complete. I am giving you context on the video clip that I saw. Law enforcement officers, federal law enforcement officers, ICE agents, were trying to take the occupant of the car out of the vehicle. During this encounter, the vehicle backed up and then drove directly at the ICE agent. That is a deadly weapon, a 2-ton deadly weapon. So what did the occupant expect? They should have expected to be shot when you commit a deadly assault on a law enforcement officer. So let's do this. Let's send out the message loud and clear. And it should start with the mayor, the police chief, the local sheriff, and the governor of Minnesota. Cooperate with law enforcement officers. Don't resist them. Don't violently resist them. If you do violently resist them, if you do felonious assaults with 2-ton weapons, expect to be shot.
Now, if you look at this angle, you can see that there's an officer right in front of the car right here. It happens so fast, but look right here, he's in front of the vehicle. And as soon as he realizes that the driver decides to take off, he quickly is able to take his gun out to not only fire, but also quickly get out of the way. And supposedly his foot got ran over. It's hard to tell because it's at an angle right here, but he is definitely in front of the vehicle. Even if it's a third of the front of the vehicle, if an officer is blocking your vehicle, or if you're walking down the sidewalk and an officer stands in front of you and he's telling you to stop, you need to obey the lawful command and figure out why he's telling you to stop. Did you do something wrong? You don't just get to say, oh, hi, officer. Oh, you're telling me to do something? I'm just going to walk this way. I'm just going to drive over here. I'm just going to ignore all the lawful commands. And, the first thing I want to say before I get into more detail about this is condolences and rest in peace to this woman. You hear a lot of people online saying, oh, yeah, well, that's what happens when you don't listen. That's what happens when you don't follow. Yes, I understand all that. Everybody should be understanding this. And there's still so many people out there that are not getting this. But this tragedy of this woman who was a mother, and a single mother, because I think she was a widow. I think her husband passed away years ago. Now her daughter or her child has to go to a foster family or somebody in the family now because this mother chose to make bad decisions. As a role model of a parent, any parent out there, everybody out there should understand that in the United States of America, if a law enforcement officer, whether it's local law enforcement, whether it's ICE agents, whether it's the military, you comply with their orders. If they are doing something unjust, you fight it in court, not on the street. I've said this many times. And people don't want to listen. People want to ignore it. People have heard this. And the people that haven't heard this, that you need to start teaching other people, because this is the reality of America. We're not the Wild West when we encounter a police officer and get to decide, you know what? The officer's not doing their job right because I happen to know more from TikTok, so I'm going to fight against this officer to prove a point. When in actuality, it could cost you the safety of others or your own life. It's a tragedy what happened to this woman. But it was clear in the very beginning, and there's videos out there that show the ICE agents about to leave, and this woman decided to block them from leaving. She shouldn't have been part of this situation. She should have driven away and not interjected. Instead, it caused the officers to get out of their vehicle and approach her and told her to get out of the vehicle, because at that point she started interfering with their duties. Now, if any of you out there that have a job, when someone interferes with your duties, a customer, a client, are you just gonna let them interfere into your work that you are knowledgeable in? You know the process and the procedures, and you're gonna falter and listen to these clients and customers? No. You know what the hell you're doing because you are hired for that position. You're not perfect. Officers aren't perfect. Nobody in this country is perfect. However, we all have a responsibility of making choices. And yesterday was not a good day for that woman because she made the wrong choice. And people need to realize that as soon as she blocked the officers, that's where she messed up. That's when she became part of a situation she didn't need to be a part of. So the officers told her to get out. One officer was right in front. She chose to reverse. I mean, you can clearly see it in the video. And as soon as those tires started moving forward, you could see the officer quickly react and take his weapon out, because now he, in his perception, he is seeing a vehicle come towards him while officers are telling the driver to get out of the vehicle. You're choosing not to comply. You're choosing to break the law even more. And then by evading, the officer's responsibilities at this point is to get you out of the vehicle, because if you're willing to drive while there's an officer in front of a vehicle, you are willing to drive and hit civilians, pedestrians, property, injure yourself. You are now a threat because you're choosing to use your own vehicle as a weapon. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. Unless you are familiar with law enforcement in some capacity, you would understand that you do not interfere. That's just the main point. Now, for a lot of people out there, and I've gotten the comments before about this on my police videos. Now, if law enforcement is actively out here in this country pulling out their gun and going door to door and just shooting innocent civilians, American citizens, just for no reason whatsoever, then this is when we can activate our Second Amendment and defend ourselves from these radical officers. This is not what is happening in America today. ICE is fulfilling their duties into doing what the president has ordered them to do, was to find illegal immigrants and deport them, get them processed out of this country. If you are an American citizen who is harboring these people, if you're an American citizen who is trying to prevent these illegal immigrants from being taken by ICE, you will pay the consequences in this country. In my eyes, you are not a true American. You are not someone that's going to safeguard this country and the people that live here in America. If you love these people and care about these people that are illegally here, help them find a way to become legal citizens of this country. Have them self-deport, come back to the border, get vetted, and then come back into the country. Simple as that. That's all American citizens want. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Till next time, peace out, everybody. This one's for Charlie.